Alright, you guys, now I'm going to share with you how I make my homemade macaroni and cheese. And how I start off with is I start off with my pan and I melt down I don't melt it, I leave it sitting out to get to room temperature, a stick of butter, and I put that in my pan. And then I add my hot noodles over the butter, and that's going to help go ahead and melt the butter on down. Then I'm going to take 4 eggs, this is quick, you guys, so it's not going to be a long drawn out process. And you want to use how many ever eggs you have. I mean, how many eggs to how much ever macaroni you're making. So I go ahead and mix my eggs up because I don't want the noodles to cook my eggs. And you can see that the butter has already melted. So I cover my noodles. And you can see where the eggs are starting to cook a little. Then what I want to do is go ahead and add my cheese. And this is just cheese that I cut up from a block. So I'm going to mix up that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some flour. And then I'll add my milk. And you'll want to add enough milk to take care of the flour. And you can see sometimes when you have a lot of noodles that you'll need extra milk. And you guys, I never measure. I never measure. This is my mom's recipe. So I got this from her. And I'm going to salt to taste. And it looks like I might. I'm going to add one more egg. And I'll add the rest of my cheese. I usually cut my cheese up smaller, but because I'm making a big serving, the chunks are bigger. And then when they melt, it's going to all spread out. I'm going to add a little bit more flour. And that's going to take up some of the milk. I'll wash my hands right quick. Make sure all of the flour is mixed in with the milk. It may not look like there's a lot of cheese in there, but believe me, when the cheese melts, it's going to be just enough cheese. You're going to make sure your flour and your milk is mixed well. And sometimes you can taste the milk mixture to see if you need more salt. And when you taste it, you guys, it tastes just like macaroni and cheese. It's just not done. Okay, and then I try and make sure that I have cheese spread out throughout the macaroni. Like you can see here where some of it's clumping together. I just try to separate it and have some in all parts of the macaroni. And then I usually buy this cheese right here. Usually I get the yellow cheese, but I picked up the wrong one. So I'm going to add some over the top. It's still going to taste the same. And that is how I make my homemade macaroni and cheese. And I'll be back, you guys, to show you the end result. Before I go, you guys, I want to tell you that I usually cover my macaroni with aluminum foil. I cover it so that it cooks without burning the cheese on top. And I never put just one. I usually cover on both ends. That way the steam will stay in and my cheese will not burn on top. Alright, so I'll be back to share with you guys the final, the finished product.